Have a look at that. Not a bad view, is it? Well, when we're finished here today, you won't even notice that because you won't be able to tear your eyes off the ground. We're going to tile this entire deck, and it's not as difficult as you think. Now, we have a living space right underneath us here, so we've had to prepare this entire area by covering it with a waterproof membrane. When it comes to choosing your tile, it's wise to be a little bit careful. We've gone with a rectangle-shaped outdoor tile, and it has a rough surface, so it's resistant to slipping. To begin with, the tools you'll need are a spirit level, a wooden float, a straight edge, and a screed bar. The materials you'll need are sand and cement. To make it easy to tile, get yourself a perfectly level surface by screeding out a sand and cement base. The wooden float will help you spread the mix and pack it down over your tiling surface. You're going to need to use a nice dry mix of about 1 part cement and 3 parts sand. And to make sure that it sticks to your surface, sprinkle a little bit of straight cement down and then just brush it in with a bit of water. For the next part of the job, you're going to need a notch trowel, string line, tape measure, plastic spacers, a flat trowel, a float, a sponge and a tile cutter. Okay, now all that's left to do is to get those tiles down. Now it's pretty important you choose the right place to start because the idea is you want to conceal as many of your tile cuts as you can. First thing to do is get a straight line down on the ground. The way to do that is to use a chalk line. Okay, if you want to make sure that your tiles stay right where they are forever, you're going to need to use an adhesive. Now you can either get some pre-mixed stuff or you can mix it up yourself, and usually all you need is a little bit of water to do that. Then you simply trowel your adhesive onto your workspace, and using a notch trowel, you just spread it all around. Now when you put your tiles down, you just want to gently lift them into the space. Move them around with your hands. Don't use a mallet or anything like that because you could crack the tile or move them a little bit too far out of place. Then you want to use a couple of these things. They're called spacers, and they'll give you a nice even gap in between your tile edges. It's really important that you make sure that first row of tiles is dead straight, so make sure you work really close to your chalk line. Use your straight edge to make sure your rows are all going down nice and straight. Now it's a good idea, once you've put down a couple of rows of tiles, to have a look back, and if you see any excess adhesive, use a damp sponge and just wipe it off, because trust me, it's a lot easier to wipe it off now than it is at the end of the job. Righto, once your tiles are dry, you're ready to grout. Now, if you're wondering about these things, it's a good idea to wear some gloves because this grout can get a little bit abrasive when you use it for too long. Plus, well, that's my favourite colour. Start off by getting rid of these spacers and then just trowel your grout on like this. Now before the grout dries, you're going to have to apply a couple of sponging techniques just to clean up your workspace a little bit. Firstly, you want to use a circular motion to wipe away any of that real excess grout. This also helps push the grout into the joints a little bit more. And using a second sponge, nice and clean, a big sweeping motion, and that'll get your tiles nice and clean. Have a look at these tiles. They look absolutely superb. And I tell you what, there's a brand new best view from this balcony. It's not out there, it's straight down.